Today, 4 teams are fighting for survival, and I hope everyone did their retro game shopping early, because I know I did. We have 2 squads that are going to be going home today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Day 7 of Valorant Masters Tokyo. Of course, we're here live at the Tipstar Dome in beautiful Chiba. I'm Golden Boy. Joining me at the desk, as always, it's my co-pilot, Mimi, my new co-pilot, Kakuka. We're going to have a great time here today. It's going to be...
They got rid of 3-man crews on planes like ages ago. You got to
We're bringing it back. We're bringing it back. He said retro shopping, you know.
Retro shopping. You know, I went out there. I went to the book off close by over here. Just bought myself some things. I'm in a great mood. It's been a vibe today.
Is Valorant a retro game? That's the game I play.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready to have this.
It's like 2 years old.
Be retro.
What time is it? Too early. Moving forward, though, let's talk about how we got here and what went down yesterday, because we kicked things off with a match that honestly was years in the making, and we were, well, I don't want to say we were promised a banger. We were hoping for a banger. We were praying for a banger. If you were a Fnatic fan, though, you got a banger.
Hey, it was a banger for the first half of the first map. It was very competitive at that
rounds
point.
Were awesome.
Yeah, it was great. But after that, Fnatic just ran away with this matchup, which was so impressive out of them. We thought NRG was going to be one of the few squads that could really put it to Fnatic and test them in this matchup, but it just ended up not really happening. If the first map was defined by some great calling from both teams, the second was just like Fnatic showing why they're a super team. Every player on this squad was just stepping up and pulling off ridiculous rounds.
So many rounds in this pressure were unreal. The level of preparation that we were seeing from both of these teams, the changes in the composition also that we saw from Loud, probably something that, from NRG Summit, that they peaked from EG. It felt like 2 different worlds, what we saw in the first one, that what we saw on the second one. We saw Fnatic that was definitely prepared for that composition and how to work around the Harbor Viper, even though we don't see it a lot in EMEA. So it was one of the teams that came very prepared for this playoffs.
And now what a crazy moment for NRG. They had to do a lower bracket run in Americas to make it to the Grand Finals. And if they want to have a run here at Tokyo as well, it's going to have to be the same exact thing with that first round loss.
Oh, 100%. Of course, we'll talk about NRG in just a little bit, but then we had a Pacific clash that I feel like we've seen time and time and time and time and time again. It is HyperX versus DRX. At this time, the circumstances changed. You have a bloodied and bruised DRX, Kakuka, and HyperX that was rejuvenated by the addition of a sub coming in to replace the player known as Something. Just want to make sure I clarify that for everyone. And his name was CGRS, and he was busting out some pretty cool ideas.
A lot of people were thinking, expecting, what is HyperX going to do now that Something is not here? Not only because of the pivotal role that he played in the region, also because of the roles. Something that is always, you know, a question and definitely a talking point when we think about HyperX, but the way that he fit in the team, the way that he brought the Gecko in the second one, the microblade that he had, he just fits perfectly, and actually is one of the teams that doesn't suffer that much from changing someone if they can have this performance.
With the substitution, I really thought Something was going to be missing from this roster, but they still kept to their identity.
Yeah. They definitely had something, but it wasn't Something.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys caught on. It was good from HyperX, so impressive for them to be able to.
One of us because we're old.
No, I'm not.
Just run the bracket, Zach, please. Just run the bracket. We're just going ahead. I am happy though that Mimi's already starting with the dad jokes. That warms my cold dead heart. Now though, as we look moving forward, HyperX, Fnatic, Team Liquid, EDG, and then in the bottom in the matches that we're going to be focusing on here today, Mimi, it's DRX NRG, EDG Loud. Genuinely, and I know that it's a tournament, you're always going to see players and teams in weird positions in the bracket, but this is staggering to see like the #1 Chinese team, the #1 America's team, the #2 America's team, and the #2 Korean team all down in the lower bracket.
I mean, this tournament is just stacked,
and
how crazy the bracket already is proves that, but I don't know. Looking into the future, seeing into my mind palace, I'm just envisioning a lower round 3 of Loud versus NRG. It just feels inevitable, right? They're both down there already. One of them has to make a run to keep to it, but the thing is, the other teams there too very well could too. EDG and DRX, well, they've both shown some issues this tournament. They've had good runs. There's a possibility that one of those 2 top America squads could be going home immediately.
Could you imagine that? Because Loud, they're the world champions from last year. Do you imagine that they do not get a single win Thank you.
place lock-in too.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, and wild to think as well that after today, 2 America's teams could be exiting.
2 teams, period. Like I think,
Oh, well, 2
I
teams,
think
period.
DRX could be gone without making it to like top 4, which is also unbelievable for them.
Yeah, actually curious to know what you guys think online. Get out there, let us know. Use those hashtags, VCT, Valorant Masters. We want to know from you guys. We have a poll question set up for y'all, which is which team do you think is going to survive today? Is it going to be Loud, EDG, Energy, or DRX? You can only pick one, so choose wisely. Scan the QR code on the screen. Make sure you cast that ballot in just a little bit. Also, let us know in the chat who you think is going to win. Go ahead and spam away. I'm looking at it right now. Truly, I'm not lying to you.
He's lying to you.
Yeah.
Voting's really important. The scriptwriters are actually watching this poll and are going to choose the teams to continue based off it.
Yes.
So, yeah,
yes.
be very careful with your
Mimi,
vote,
you
guys.
can't let them know the secrets on the broadcast. Come on, man. You know, it's just...
We don't do scripts in the MEA. Nothing makes sense.
Nothing makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
Script.
We
It's
just go with
basically an extended episode of Who's Line. In any case, though, guys, we're gonna get in. We're gonna adjust ourselves for a little bit and have play a little game. We're gonna, decide to do something a little fun here. We like to call it 2 truths and a lie. It's a very, very simple thing because obviously we want to see, how truthful people are. Let's find the frauds out there.
I really like that you said we like to call it 2 truths and 1 lie, like you invented this.
I invented the game
no one's ever done it
myself.
before.
No one's ever done it.
This is a Valorant Masters exclusive.
We've trademarked it. It's ours now. And if you come after us, we'll come after you. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a look. First up, we have a thing here from Loud. There it is from Cowanzine. Okay, so let's go ahead and show this one here. The point is that we have to find the lie. Which is the lie? Okay. So he's the youngest player, right, at Masters Tokyo, often referred to as by Loud fans, and he's only played 57 series in his career.
I mean, 57 series is quite a lot, honestly. He played
it?
probably like 15 at Americas.
I think
he
that,
played at 1 international event before.
But
He
is this
played at
counting his games before?
I think historically, right? In his career, I'm assuming. Yeah.
I feel like I would have heard about.
I'm gonna go with
I
pie.
don't know the pie. I don't know the pie. I haven't heard the pie. I'm
think
going
pie
for
is
the
the
pie
lie.
is the lie.
All right, let's see.
Pie
It's
is the
pie.
lie.
Pie is the lie. Let's see what it is.
Yes.
Pie is the lie because pie is sadak, and pie usually means dad. So
What does it means, dad?
yeah, like father or
Oh,
something
okay.
like that. Like we have different. It's Spanish and Portuguese all have different ones. So that's right. We
I
use our
told my mother,
powers of deduction right there.
In
Look at
English,
that.
it's dad.
Let's see the next one.
Or some more concerning one. Next one.
All right, has been playing professionally for over 10 years, is a father to his fur child, Levi, and has posted over 10K tweets on Twitter.
I think I already
I
know
like
because
Levi, and he has been professional.
we asked him if he was going to stick around when we were just getting Megathon GB, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd like to, but I have to go back and take care of my cats."
That's
so
right.
I think
Wait a minute.
that one is true.
He is
I'm
a
pretty
fur
sure it's
child.
Good
Yeah.
for Twitter.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
this is a lie.
He doesn't tweet.
Yeah, let's do the Twitter.
He's offline.
All right, let's
Lives in the
see.
moment.
How socially active is Finesse? Not at all.
We're good at this game. Oh, look at that picture.
Ay,
Aw.
qué lindo. Look
He
at
has
that.
2 kitties too. I think they're very
Oh, that
cute.
is adorable. I actually miss my Stella back at home, so one day I'll see her again. All right, let's go to the last one here and see what we have. This is pretty fun so far. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it.
Yes.
All right, it's ConCon. All right, so recorded 358 ACS on Lotus versus Team Liquid. Played Gecko 2 times at Masters Tokyo, and the ZMJJ, and his name is a tribute to his brothers.
know the
Team
last
So
Liquid.
the first one has to be real. Just given some context, he won 12-1 in first duels. So I think that it was something outrageous like that. It was also an incredibly close one. So I'm gonna say that is probably true.
Yeah, he only plays Gecko on Bind, and I only think they played
played
Bind
once.
once. So I
Ah.
think the second one has got to
Okay.
be the lie.
I
But also,
completely
it is cool about the brother's name. We haven't really talked about it this event, but
Yeah.
Kong Kong is his ID, and then ZMJJ is his brother's, which he kind of carries on because it was his
Sweet.
brother's dream of being a pro player. So
Yeah.
it's just really sweet. that he
Is
Pretty
there
awesome.
anything about EDG that is not wholesome?
They're so wholesome.
They're one of my favorite teams.
Do we wanna lock it in
dare I
then?
say. We're locking it
Second
in.
one,
That's the lie?
Gecko
We
twice.
know what it is. It's Gecko 2 times. We're geniuses.
This was our best game so far.
Guys, we're so good at this.
And I'm
right?
not even
Look at this.
going to have to make accusations that he
Yeah.
cheated this time because we worked together.
Yes,
That's great.
we worked together, we deduced things properly, and look at that, we came
You still
together
probably
as a family.
cheated, but we cheated as a
Probably.
family.
There's just no winning.
He probably wrote it.
You know what? I'm going to go and sit in a corner of sadness, and then we're going to take a quick commercial break. But then when we come back, we're going to break down our first matchup of the day. It's Loud versus Edwards Gaming. Of course, we'll see you on the other side, and I'm going to go cry.
Edwards.
Okay, there's like
Welcome back to Masters Tokyo. You know, if there's something that we learned over here is that you learn to expect the unexpected, and sometimes you unexpect the expected unexpectedly.
What does that mean?
That's right. Go ahead and noodle on that one for a little while.
No,
you know what? No one could have seen this in the stars. No one could have predicted the matchup that we are about to see here today. It's Loud versus EDG in a lower bracket round one matchup, which is staggering to say the least. So let's go ahead and start first with Loud. And actually, Cuckoo, I'm going to start with you because we talk about Loud all the time. It's like our job over in America. So I want to get your take on this one because
I've enjoyed Loud so much during your guys' regular season. And again, this is the team that world champions last year, and as you said, Mimi, also second at lock-in. And not only that, playoffs, it was almost immaculate. I think like they dropped like one map. I think that they just came into this matchup against an EG that is revitalized. Like the way that they have been playing on this stage is like home. A little bit with nothing to lose, but with really cool things like this execute that we're seeing here with their staggering and beautiful utility. But Loud, they just seem a little bit shaky, slow, not actually finding the right plays and the right ideas.
It was so different from the Loud that we normally expect to watch. I mean, this moment in particular, just heartbreaking.
I felt scammed.
Yeah. It seemed like Loud was just slipping a little bit mentally after winning map number one. And it's really the first time in ages that I've seen them in a game where they look fully off. And I think it started all the way back in the map veto where they're coming in. It's so hard to start a tournament in the middle, not warmed up. You play against CG on their best map in Fracture. You lose there, and then I think the series just snowballed for Loud.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to try and keep that momentum going, especially, and this isn't actually anything to take away from EG, because EG, if anything, forced them into that position to begin with. So credit to them for really like exposing Loud's like, not, I don't want to say unpreparedness, because they definitely were, but they were just the coldness, let's just say.
Sure.
The good news is, though, we actually did get an opportunity to catch up with Fraud, courtesy of HyperX. Actually, go ahead and take a look at that.
Fraud, if I can catch you real quick, how's it going, man? You good? So obviously after the EG loss, which statistically speaking is the worst loss that Loud have suffered, what are the main takeaways? How's the mental feeling heading up against EDG today?
I mean, when it comes to the loss, it is what it is. EG was playing a fantastic game. They're a great team, and a lot of learning lessons for us. So just something that we took back, spent the whole day discussing, and you know, we're here ready to play.
Awesome. Well, good luck today, man.
If there's one thing that I've learned in the way too long time that I've done this job is that you never stop learning. And it is scary now that Loud have learned valuable lessons from that EG game. And I think they're going to come out with some fire lit under them.
Yeah, I think we talked about this when we were speaking about Fnatic, that they actually wanted to take a loss in EMEA to kind of be that wake-up call, be that game where you're like, okay, we're not undefeatable, we're not perfect, we can lose. And learning to lose is a big thing for teams that are always dominant. And I think Loud had that opportunity there. But now the question is, can they do something in a position they've never been in before? They've never been in the lower bracket at the start of a tournament. And I think the pressure is going to be on Sadak, on the leadership of this team, to rally these younger players and be like, okay, we took a blip, we took a loss, but we can come back.
The most important thing is actually that mental reset of, okay, we were called for whatever happened that day. It doesn't matter. We need to change it. We need to, you know, go back to the basics and actually, you know, make this run. We can perfectly do it and maybe change things on the way. Of course, it's not ideal to start with this pressure. That is probably something that happened during that ascent, right? When you're having that first half that is very close, you feel like you're always on the line, that every round counts double.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of the issues in their game versus EG wasn't necessarily prep or game plan. I actually thought they had good ideas on how to shut down EG. On Fracture, they really prioritized shutting down comms utility, bleeding that out on their attacking side. The issue is the late rounds and the follow-through, where I think players were struggling individually. A call would be made, not everyone would really follow through. I really do think this is one of those games where you can chalk up a lot of their mistakes to they started cold, it snowballed out of control, and now this can be their game to rally back and show us the team that they were throughout Americas.
Yeah, and you know, you saw Sadak there, obviously, like what he brings to the table as a leader. You're really going to be looking for those mid rounds. You're going to be looking for him to really set the tone in the comms for the team. And we actually did get a chance to speak with Sadak following that tough loss against EDG, and we want to know how they're going to bounce back. So let's go ahead and take a look.
Então, meu desempenho um pouquinho para baixo. Que vai ser um jogo muito difícil. Já foi um jogo difícil no VCT Américas e eu sabia que eles é um time que aprende muito, então com certeza nunca subestimei eles e sabia que ia ser um jogo difícil. Os caras jogaram muito bem. Eu acho que todo mundo entende que tá, a gente perdeu, temos que passar por essa situação negativa e voltar positivo, né? Voltar bem. Pode aprender muito dessa derrota, eu acho que a Lower vai ser muito boa para nós.
Gearing it up steps, that paranoia is going to send most of EG scrambling. Let's try to buy something. I'm just going to lose my side as well. It's very nice. And the crunch is on the way. It's just murder dish. Beautiful from Loud.
Não temos vontade de jogar contra ninguém em particular, só temos vontade de jogar. Primeiro, para continuar ganhando experiência com o time, né? E segundo, para ver como que o time vai reagir nessa situação de derrota igual. Vamos voltar para casa. Então vai ser uma experiência muito legal de viver com eles e ver como que o time cresce e como afronta essa dificuldade.
I think that reiterates what we were already talking about, where he's saying that this is their opportunity to kind of learn from that defeat and take it as an opportunity to grow. When I watch this Loud team, I think you can always see the maturity from the leadership, in particularly Sadak, in being able to develop his younger players, give them these opportunities that when things are going wrong, just taking it to learn and instantly improving.
Yeah.
I also take out the fact that he said that they don't care about who they're going to play next, and that is the mentality that they need to have now they're in this lower bracket. It has to be all about them, all about how they can rectify those mistakes to actually show a different face on the server, a face that everybody's expecting to see from them.
And honestly, if there's a team that, you know, won't really be licking their wounds too long, it's Loud. Actually, we do have some tweets from some of the players where they actually talk about it. You know, Les saying, really hard to make a championship debut. We started badly, but we will do everything to come back. Thanks for the fans, you know, and it's pretty late, which it is actually quite late back in the entirety of the Americas region. And of course, we had another tweet from Aspas that came in as well, saying that we didn't debut well at Masters Tokyo, but we'll believe until the end. Thanks to those who cheered us on. Let's get back on top. And I think that, again, it just reiterates, Kukuka, that this team, right, like, yes, they have gotten set back, but they have been set back before. They come back stronger than before. EDG needs to be careful.
I like the fact also that they kind of agreed that what happened is that they were a little bit cold, that things could have been way better if, you know, it was a different instance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think in that game as well, they tried a lot of the things towards the end in desperation to save, in things that were working for them in Americas. And in particular, it was Aspas. Whenever they had a bad start to a game in Americas, when they lost that map, Aspas would step up in map 2. He would go ridiculously crazy and come back for the team to be able to win out these series. And it looked like he was going to maybe try and do the same here. I think on Ascent in particular, he started taking a lot of risks on that jet, was getting really aggressive, was trying to make some of those plays that had saved them in Americas before, but it was not working out. And that's where I think I'm seeing that when you're coming to these international events, when the competition is continuing to level up, it really is going to have to be a team effort. You can't rely on that individual to rally back a series anymore.
Yeah, but I think that everything adds up. Like I saw the other day, I saw Aspas and many other players just not hitting shots that in the region they would have hit 100%. So it has to do with the confidence that EG has been able to build up here on the stage. And also, you know, maybe Loud being a little bit nervous.
Yeah,
now
and
the stakes are different.
That's true. And also now you got Aspas, who's going to be going up against a player who's got all the confidence in the world in Concon, and he is playing some of the best Valorant that we have seen on this stage yet.
Concon has been incredible throughout this tournament, and versus Liquid, when it looked like on map 3 it was just going to slip out of their hands, he stepped up in such a big way. He was like 12-1 in opening kills on that final map. He was trying so hard to save his team.
Liquid.
And he almost did it. It was 13-11.
71% first blood. That success, that is insane.
Like, it sits in my head that it came down to a 50-50. This could have very well had been Team Liquid in this position.
For
you
sure.
know?
We were literally one round away from the overtime. And
it was
I
a
feel
1v1.
Literally. And not only that, every series that EDG has lost has also come to that third map being incredibly close. But every single time that they've won, it's been a 2-0. I think that is the team that it's going to push all the way. And even what you think is going to be easy with them is not going to be the case. Also, the fact that Kong Kong is always the final boss. We don't care who's on the other side. They're always going to be afraid of, oh my God, we need to dodge this guy.
Like, we got to stop Kong Kong. But actually, that takes us in a great segue right over to the biggest surprise here at Masters Tokyo. Of course, it's Edward Gaming. This team has truly been magnificent to watch top to bottom. They've grown exponentially here in Tokyo, and it seems like their ceiling is so high they haven't even hit it yet, Mimi.
Yeah, their ceiling is very high, and they've already broken expectations. Whereas for Loud, they came in with so much pressure on them. They were the runner-up at Lock-In. They're the winners of Americas. Everyone expected them to be at the top here in Tokyo. Yep. No one expected EDG. They've already broken a boundary by making it to playoffs, and it's a question of how far can they continue this run.
I mean, they already went against one champion. They have to go against another one. It's definitely not going to be easy. And I feel like the pressure is way more on Loud than it is on EDG because the result that they got already was good enough.
What was Loud's track? I know they played Team Liquid, but my God, I know we've been here doing this tournament, but it feels like time has eluded us. Who do they play before? Because it just feels like they're just running into like really
Navi and T1 in the lower bracket.
Okay, yeah. I mean, these guys are just they're going through the ringer. But that is what it is when you're at a global event, right? You have no other choice but to really have to step up in those moments. Now, I know, Kukuki, you have a telestrator you wanted to break down because I'm curious to see your take on how Kong and the rest of EDG can really begin to grow on their mistakes.
Yes, I wanted to take a look at the split game that they had against Liquid because they decided to change the composition, something that we had not seen, a map that we had not seen here before from then on split. So I wanted to take a quick look at this round. It's round number 6. And I wanted to focus on how this round is preset and how it's going to evolve. So as you can see, everybody from EDG is already ready for making a quick incision onto A. But the response from Liquid already from the beginning of the round is going to be Nats taking care of all this space, and also with this trip bar, no contest here from the side of EDG is going to be on that left side of the map. They're mostly focused on the right side, but all the confrontation is going to come from Liquid side. So I want us to roll the clip and to see how EDG reacts to everything the Team Liquid puts on the table. We see that smoke from Viper is going to land here, and they sky flash. The reaction, of course, is Redgar putting this smoke here that is going to slow them down. But, you know, EDG keeps gathering back that space. The Sky keeps using that utility, and when they find that there is an instant response from Team Liquid, letting them know that they have a lot of control over it, they move over towards mid. Mind me, in this entire 40 seconds that is going to happen, nothing is going to be over mid or over B lobby, just because Nats has his camera here, and it's just chilling. So the thing is that Redgar now, they used, by the way, their first smoke. They hadn't even placed the stars. They don't care. They were very decisive on what they wanted to do, and they were adapting mid-round to what they see and what Liquid's bringing on the table. Now, if we pause here for 1 second, we can see that Yampi has decided to use the Seekers. Now, he wants to have the impact of, okay, we know that we have heard something towards mid, but we have nothing to counter it just because Redgar is playing behind. We also see Save moving quickly, and the reaction from EDG is also going to be instant. If we roll the clip again, now they hear that there's noise, they're not going to be stopped. Also, the wall is stopping one of the Seekers that Solkas has used, and the response from EDG is like, okay, they've already used the util. I don't think they have much more to burn if we think that Nats is also on that B side and is the only player that we did not spot. We do a little bit make a little bit of noise. Safe is still, you know, trying to find his place into where he wants to go, and then they go on the fast execute. Now, impact kills from Kankan every single round. He goes, he uses the ult, and even though this looks a little bit shaky, now we see the intention and the actually having a response in a mid-round call to what they have been presented with and what they're going to do about it. The end of this round is also crazy because everything comes to a 1v1, and I think it's very smart from Smoggy, another player that we need to be looking out for in this team. And just because he updrafts when he falls, he doesn't really make a sound cue, so Nats has to choose which shot is he going to make, and he gets the round.
Here's the thing though, EDG is that team who has kind of disrupted the idea of what Chinese Valorant is by really slowing things down, by having more ideas in the mid-round. But I also watch them a lot of the times, and I think that really slow pace can punish them. In that round, for instance, if Liquid in the mid-round had made a play to take space in mid, they would have had to invest a lot more into that
Would've
reclear.
been a lot harder.
They wait so long. Uncontested. Yeah, they wait so long in their defaults, just sitting in main in so many of these rounds, that I think versus a team that's more willing to find that gap, get aggressive in the mid-round, they can really be punished. Because I don't think EDG leave themselves a lot of cancel options.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how Loud have done their homework, because if there's one thing that we know about Fraud, it's that they are astute when it comes to that VOD review. It's going to be fascinating, of course, but we did get an opportunity, and also a great breakdown as well, Bia. But let's go ahead and jump over to HyperX, who's got a quick word with Kankan, everyone's favorite player. Let's go ahead and check it out.
Oh, Kang, if I can just stop you for a second. Obviously, after the performance here in Tokyo already, making a name for yourself, how are you feeling about today's matchup going up against Aspas, who's widely considered one of the best in the world?
就其实你在东京大师赛的表现也非常的出色，然后在今天你们即将对阵到 Loud， 对阵到 Aspas， 然后他也是全球范围内非常有名的一个选手，然后你对此有什么感受？
我现在也是全球里面最出名的那个 Jet， 所以说我尊重他，但是我一点都不害怕他。
I mean, I'm also one of the best jets all over the world, so I respect him a lot, but I'm not afraid of him at all.
Awesome. Thanks so much and good luck today.
Curious to see what ends up happening with EDG today, but you know what's really awesome about this team is that even when it feels like they're in the struggle bus, even when it feels like things are going bad and things look bad in that Liquid game at some point, they still find a way, Mimi. This team is fascinating to watch.
Yeah, they nearly brought it back in the Liquid game, but now the question is, after taking their first big loss internationally, in this tournament, I should say, how can they rally back? Because thus far, they have been fueled by starting in that lower bracket, winning 2 games in a row, riding that high, that momentum all the way into playoffs. Do they have it in them to come back after that heartbreaking loss and bring that same energy into the lower bracket?
I think that is perfectly feasible. Like as you said, they have already been on the losing end when it comes to this tournament. Now twice. I think that they know that they're going up against very heavy hitters. It was the same throughout the rest of the tournament. I don't think it affects them that much. I think that in the first rounds, we go a little bit about, oh my God, they're playing against their idols and people that they definitely look up to, but it hasn't affected their performance.
True.
I honestly compare them to EG. I think they've already processed losing. They didn't expect to be here. Now they're just playing with house money, seeing how far they can make it.
Yeah, that is the best part about this EDG team. Of course, so guys, we asked you online to go ahead and vote in a poll and see who would survive today's elimination matches, and I'm not surprised.
Hey.
Everyone, a lot of people picked Loud, but it was contested.
Second one is EDG, so it has to be one of the two. It cannot be it cannot be both of them. So
True. Shocking though, Mimi. No faith in DRX.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. But if you had to pick one, I would likely have the most confidence in Loud to make it out. But the thing is, EDG continues to defy those expectations.
I think it's going to be a bigger
Yeah,
match.
okay, real quick before we throw, who do you think is going to win, Kukuka?
I think it's going to be Loud. It has to be Loud. Like, it has to be Loud.
Okay, I don't disagree with it.
I'm so happy with what EDG has been doing, but I think the story might come to an end.
Logical, makes sense.
I
Mimi?
think Loud will be the team to exploit EDG's attacking sides. They're so slow. They don't leave themselves a ton of options, and they really rely on these chaotic late rounds where Loud is great at as well. Loud is a clear favorite here. But again, it's EDG, man. Who knows?
Yeah. See, I'm gonna play the neutral role. I just want both teams to go out there and have fun.
That's so sweet.
Isn't that
Okay,
right?
yeah,
But you know what though? One thing is for certain. Today we're gonna be treated to some excellent matches because 2 teams are gonna be moving on, and 2 teams' Masters Tokyo journey ends here. We have Loud versus Edward Gaming, NRG versus DRX. Day 7 of VALORANT Masters Tokyo starts right now.
일단은 뭐 도쿄뿐만 아니라 어느 대회든 일찍 집에 간다는 건 너무 힘든 사실이기 때문에
Being sent home is definitely difficult for us.
It'll have to be a lower bracket run.
It hurts every single time. That feeling of regret because you feel like you could have done things better, that feeling doesn't go away.
작년 2022 챔피언스 때 3등 했을 때는 아무 생각 안 들다가도 관중들 보니까 또 갑자기 슬퍼져가지고 이번에는 또 다시 그런 감정을 만들고 싶지 않아요.
Eu acho meu pai uma pessoa muito conhecimento, né? E ele falou uma coisa que ficou muito na minha cabeça, no meu coração. As vitórias você celebra e as derrotas você chora, mas nunca em excesso. perder, ganhar, sempre manter o pé no chão, ser humilde, né? Que é o mais importante.
我们现在已经到8强过后，我们现在面临的所有队伍，我们都是抱着学习的心态去的，然后就是挑战者的心态，展现出我们一些前所未有的潜力，看看我们的极限在哪。
프로로서 이제 높은 자리로 올라가는 건 참 부담감도 있고 힘든 거지만 또 이제 그만큼 저희를 응원해주는 팬분들도 있기 때문에
我们都对康康充满信心，我们都有信心帮助他去拿下我的偶像，所以说pass。
Our backs are up against the wall. We're going to give everything we have.
Calcio camino a ser un campeón.
All right, match one of the day. We'll go ahead and jump in. Loud, you are higher seed for this match. Would you like Team A or Team B?
Team A.
Team A. So you will have the first band. You can go ahead and pick your first band.
Band Pearl.
Band Pearl, your band. Band Ascent. Map number 1.
We picked Lotus.
Side on Lotus from EDG. Attack. Map number 2. Fracture. Side on Fracture. Attack. So we'll go into the next set of bands, starting with Loud. You have Haven, Bind, and Split.
We've been Split.
Okay, and your band? You have Haven and Bind. Haven. So map number 3 will be Bind, Loud, Side on Bind. Attack. Okay, so I'm going to run through this really quick, make sure we're all good to go. First set of bands, we have Loud with Pearl, EDG with Ascent. Map number 1 is Lotus with EDG on attack. Map number 2 is Fracture with Loud on attack. Next set of bands were Split and Haven, so decider map will be Bind with Loud on attack. Okay, good luck to you both.
Likewise. Good luck. Good luck.
Loud. Edward Gaming.
The America's champs find themselves in uncomfortable territory because their opponent has nothing to lose and everything to gain. Loud versus EDG is all the makings to be an incredible matchup.
EDG have already made miracles happen by making it to the playoffs, but for Loud, they now need one of their own. First place at Champions, second place at Lock-In. Losing this early in an international tournament would be unthinkable.
Yeah, exactly. And after the regular season that they've had, how dominant they have been on NA, it has to be something different today. We need to see that Loud shine again. Not only today, the rest of the tournament. We know what happened at Lock-In. They were very close from securing back-to-back tournaments. It couldn't be, but everybody's expecting them to get to finals.
This team does not lose for Loud. This year, it was Fnatic in the finals. It was Energy in the groups in Americas. They have not taken a loss since picking up their 2 new players in Puis and Palantir. So this is new territory for them. And this is the big question. After taking a loss that none of them, I'm sure, expected they would take, how can they rally back?
Yeah, you're hoping to see that Brazilian fury that Loud have just been known for. But on the other side, again, I have to reiterate that for EDG, at this point in time, you've achieved every single goal that you have set out for. Icing on the cake, a very delicious cake, if you will, if you're able to take out the America's champs, a team that many regard as the best in the world. I mean, you know, now that they find themselves in this position, we have to see if that comes to fruition.
EDG was 1 round away. They were 1 round away from pushing that series to overtime versus Team Liquid. They were on the precipice of beating the EMEA champs. The question is, can they get that revenge on the champions of Americas this time?
On the other side, we heard Les saying that he wasn't very happy with not playing on the map pick first and also letting Fractures lit through. Now they decided to be the Team A and they decided to pick Lotus, a map that I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe they only played in week 1 and we haven't seen from them?
Yeah, they played it once at Lock-in, once in the very first week of Americas. They were playing Gecko back then, but now they changed their comp to what seems to be the Americas meta right now, the comp that we first saw coming out of Cloud9. The EG has picked up, or excuse me, the Energy has picked up to good success. Aspas, I love the Neon. This comp is so good at finding fast defensive-sided rotations.
And not only that, they might have something prepared, but also they have the VOD from EDG literally 2 days ago. So, of course, the pressure is definitely going to be there, but some preparation and some specifics into how EDG treats this map is going to come into place.
And for EDG, this is going to be a surprise. They're coming in blind to this one, whereas they've already put that VOD out there. Loud knows what to expect. The question is, how much have they rallied since that loss?
Well, when you think about big game moments, you need big game casters, and I couldn't think of 2 better people to call the action than Pansy and HyperX.
Thank you, GB, and the desk there for kind of leading us into this one. And again, have to reiterate, elimination game between these two. Now, yes, EDG have thoroughly impressed us so far.
Absolutely, yeah.
Loud leaving us wanting more. That first game out on the stage, it wasn't it. But Mike, let's focus in on this one, right? I want your thoughts initially on the veto, because this certainly leaves me with question marks, and I'm sure you.
It does, and the desk kept touching on kind of, you know, out of comfort zones and uncharted territory being here in the lower bracket for Loud, but this one feels a little bit roll of dice. Yes, there's some tape out there from EDG, but again, when you talk about Loud having never been in the lower bracket, an international event, and obviously we're talking historically, to now do this, to pull out versus EDG, who put up a very good performance versus Liquid. Honestly, like I said, it came down to a coin toss, cool, however you want to put that down. This one feels a little risky.
It does.
From the side of Loud.
It very much does, and I wonder if this comes back to haunt them later down the line. We wait and we find out here. Tournament life is on the line. Something I never expected to be saying so quickly for Loud, let alone having EDG here in this position. Lotus to start. There will be no tomorrow for one of these 2 teams. And it'll be EDG on the attack and Loud on the defense.
Really flash out from Loud here to clear Mound, or at least confirm there was no presence, but Chichu gets out the spy cam behind it. Smoggy's probe sent out towards B side, won't find anything. EDG maybe reading this actually on the back of the flash, not catching. They should have a bit of space to play with outside C. County will spot on the second, Slight tag down to 80 HP, but at least noted here.
Spot from Salak on the other side. There will be a player to greet him eventually. They do decide to opt in that direction, but we can see where the intentions lay. It's towards C. 3 players in response coming in so far. Aspas taken a lot of damage. Almost back on 3 HP, but he is still standing, so the Frenzy will still operate as well as it does. Paranoia sent and the lean back towards B. So test C, pull rotation, hit that B site. The spike should be going down uncontested.
Les actually nearly getting spammed here behind the wall, so perfect read from Smoggy. Still wins out though, Les will fall.
Yeah, lost a little in the smoke there. Didn't quite expect someone to be pushed up so deep, and now the retake gets a little bit more difficult. Tui, Sadak, Kalanzine, and Aspas, and keep in mind Aspas was already so low from that C attempt earlier on, but Tui's lovely shot towards Kankang. Now the... Oh, Chichu! Okay, I thought that was going to be a trade maybe at best, but apparently 2 for him is just fine, and the numbers are just insurmountable. EDG, big beginnings.
Chichu with a ridiculous snap on the second. Almost felt accidental. Kankang again left in that lurk position, looking to do some damage, but actually digs a little too deep. Gives away a Sheriff, but doesn't amount to anything. That, definitely accidental on the first. Aspas down to 3 HP, just catches one inside the smoke. Slow, very, very cautious approach here, or well-considered approach here from EDG. And I love the fact that Des touched on it. EDG, again, it's a Chinese team. You come in, you kind of expect that pacey sort of play style, but they've ticked a big box here in Tokyo and being able to master the macro game again against some teams.
Showing already against
Real
some of the
depth.
previous opponents. It's very impressive. Now, this round shouldn't be too much of a problem. We'll see if it does get towards it. And I do want to pose the question of the mentality for Loud here. They had some very rough starts against EG, for example, who are notoriously good at converting the bonus, getting the pistol. They never felt like they've had that big beginning here for Loud. And once again, they're putting in a similar scenario. Losing that pistol here doesn't set them up for that momentum shift or maybe feeling out the stage a bit. And this is just walking through, right? Kang already going to be finding Sadak here in the post plant. We only saw pistols. It was Frenzy's Ghosts, bits and pieces. Yeah, still had a little bit of kit to play with, but never given the opportunity to make much of it. Yeah, this is going towards getting the knives out very early. That is terrifying. Yeah, he'll be feeling out the game here. Prime Gaming flawless round 2. EDG, light work on that.
Here's Loud. Well, to get into the buy round now, how they're going to approach the rest of this. Yeah, Mimi was touching on this as well. How much do Loud want to disrupt some of these slower attacking rounds from EDG? This is already an indicator of how they want to approach the attack here on Lotus, at least.
One enemy remaining.
Kang 2 away. Actually a very well-rounded purchase here. 3 Bulldogs, Phantom in the hands of Haldong. Spectre to round things out.
Okay, so we look at how the map kind of unfolds. We've got the 3 players getting quite deep towards A. For Loud, so they want to try and take that space away, which is going to be respected by EDG for now. On the other side, obviously, Mountain, kind of exchanging hands. That being divided up. Very, very deep hold from Sadak, too, sitting almost back of sight here. It looks like EDG do want to test this, maybe just a little. 4 players now shifting over this way.
Stacked up from Loud, though. Actually poised up to take first contact. The smoke is posted deep, yeah. Will allow them to do so. Trailblazer will trade off at the same time.
Can't springboard off this yet. A little bit of stall here. Kang's in. Nice work from Tui's. Gonna stop that. Yeah, that's really put the brakes on that round for them. It could be a nice upgrade, too, if they needed it. They don't, obviously, for Loud. Chi-Chu showing a little presence on the C side, but that additional rotation is in. Less is there. It's not just Sadak anymore.
I guess they only really have the confirmation of Les being in range of that turret as well, so... Unless Sadak's snakebite spotted early here, but EDG could have forced their way on.
Yeah, but one's been caught on the cross already. Haldong going down makes it even more difficult as well. Losing out on a little bit of that utility. Can these 3 make anything happen? Down to 2 Bulldogs, 1 Spectre. Chi-Chu the only one to really draw blood so far. Lovely. That's what Loud needed. A clean round to come back into this. Make a little bit of a stake into this map.
Yeah, stopping any early snowball from EDG. Kang will be 1 away from the Blades now. And Chi-Chu 1 off the neural theft, but at least available here. Whether EDG even look to try and retrieve an orb here. It's curious, actually, as soon as the Cloudburst comes through, even ahead of Kang's dash into it, there's no flash, there's no setup for him to really pop back out of that smoke. So you see how quickly EDG reconsider that approach, but well, we have a little bit of a brawl here, yeah.
Yeah, willing to fight for this space now. Kaunzine, lovely work though, just getting slightly behind Haldong. Able to isolate one. The follow-up's gorgeous! EDG winning out the bloody battle over towards A, and the site's completely theirs. 4 still standing. Plant looks inevitable. Don't think much is going to stop that. Sadak, unless noted in that previous round, mostly leaning towards C. Mostly looking after that area as Les drifts through a little early on this. He hasn't been noted just yet. Yes, he has. Just by Haldong. The trade there. Numbers very favorable to EDG. It's going to need something miraculous, and it ain't going to happen. EDG instantly attracting that. Ain't sit on that for too long. Have to respect it a little, but this will give up the site.
Let's give up control outside rubble here. The smoke will slow things down. No member of EDG past the poison orb just yet. Kaunzine with a shot. Kang potentially, yeah, does find it. Will remove the tip of the spear. EDG will be forced to reconsider for the time being.
Yeah, you can see Loud have retaken towards the side themselves. And they're showing a little of that presence, posturing up for Sadak. Maybe EDG looking for options, none looking too obvious just yet. Seekers as well, so still confirming their attendance, even noting that lurk in place from Chi-Chu.
That's big info, yeah. Spot Chi-Chu's early progress outside B. So it looks like the split might come through here. Spike not committed just yet, though.
And maybe trying to work off the back of that pressure, but Kaunzine is up to the test. Drawn away for a second, he expects a swing, but
You got two.
Smoggy got both? Wow, okay, Smoggy's made this look a little bit more doable. Suddenly the Spike's gonna try and get over towards that B side, go down, give themselves the time on their side. Still some kit for Aspas to play with though.
Yeah, but not much.
Not a great deal, and he's still lingering over towards A, maybe expecting a later presence, but no, we know where all of these EDG players are. So like taking the first couple of steps, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna be spotted on this. Yeah, absolutely noted. Notes one, nobody's even gonna isolate left. This is not going their way, and nobody holding this. Aspas can't make it through cleanly anymore. The options are looking dreary for him. Hard to clear on that far right corner, nobody denies it, and that was a lovely start from Loud there, Mike. That looked like the round was tilting in their favor.
I mean, how Smoggy's lined up too in that position. I'm not even sure where 2E's was.
Oh.
2E's caught the first bullet headshot here. That's tough. And it equalizes that early two-man advantage that Loud are able to create. Seemingly scot-free as well. There was no possibility of a trade coming back through there, but just hear it off screen. Kung now on the operator. Bladestorm available too. Loud continuing to try and take this space.
He wouldn't go any further, right? He's one away from the ult. If he gets that, game on our hands here, but this round, Danger Man himself.
I see a little bit of investment back into this. A Guardian, 2 Stingers, a couple of Sheriffs allowed to work with. And Bladestorm popped. Loud a little later on in the round, but still committed to this 3-man stack outside rubble.
Double pop.
Just going to leave him posted up with the operator. EDG love doing this as well. When he has the op, when you have the Bladestorm, they're happy to let him play his own game, be a distraction.
They still need to break this 3-man push. Not easy at all. Spam comes in, doesn't find what they want. Aspas still very close by, but look at the buy. Don't misplace what the balance of this round is. It is Stingers, it's Guardians, it's Sheriffs. It's not a lot. Seeker's going to come in, showing they've got a little bit of space towards that B site. Oh, that could be huge. It's not. It doesn't actually find any of the targets. They scatter on the other side. Kankan getting a little bit more interested and maybe a little too aggressive on this. Zadak's going to find it, and that would be an operator to hand if they really fancy it. Smoggy going to try and pick up the challenge. The adjustment on the spray from nobody is lovely. Expecting 2Es on that swing. Now the last two are going to find it very difficult to find value here. These rifles just way better situated. Chichu tucked in the corner, gotta be careful. Still a range where it could work. Left with a belter. Good trade for Chichu. Less expecting Howdong. Oh, just off on it there. There's gotta be a pause, Mike. There has to be a pause here.
It does. EDG are dictating the tempo so well, but Loud, I think, just a little too cautious to address one of the extremities. Take some space away. I feel like EDG just have so many options here. Again, Loud maintaining rubble control, yes. Other than that pace change in the opener, they did force their way onto A site.
Wow, no timeout. Straight in. They've got plenty of ults to play with, still a buy in hand. Maybe they feel they've got something here. This is the round, they've got to do it though. Paranoia going to come in, deep smoke as well. Aspas once again going to control this this space. But those late leans back in towards B have been working very well for EDG if they don't get that initial pick or that progress towards the other sites.
Curious here if Aspas, this is going to be the one round where actually they force through with a Trailblazer.
Yeah, deeper flash. They might, right? They have to. They have to test what's behind that smoke. Adjustment on the setup short from less, but I don't think it's going to really deny much. Smoggy's already off. He's got the support there, but 2Es lands a great shot. That's going to keep that B side safe. There's the fight we were looking for.
Finally taking that space back, and at the right time on the back of that B side contact. Smoggy a little. Oh, the last bullet adjustment there. Nobody going to find less.
I'm a little nervous they're overextending on this. Did Howdong even get checked? No, but he's going to clear it out quite quickly. And it is 3 very dangerous players currently. Kungkung's still alive, has that operator.
All the Killjoy utility's gone as well, though, with less down.
Yeah, but 2Es was great on this cross. But he's been red. Kangkang almost got body blocked on the way back out, but he does get a little bit of room to work with now. Going to get a little bit further ahead. He has to be integral to this round. And he's willing to take the space. He's being audacious with it. No plant yet either. They're waiting for that pick, but they're just not going to be giving it. Discipline being shown by Loud. Double stack towards the A side connector. He's still trying to hold this, keep some avenue safe. Smoke gonna go in as well, try and deny some of that push-up coming in from that A site. But you can see the utility coming back out from Loud. They want to try and forge a path, but time's starting to tick now. They do need to start working in. Oh, gets popped. He's looking for it. Shorty in hand. It's nobody to find him. Oh, Tui, Sadak, great work together. Hold on. How much can you do? Not enough. Sadak. Yeah, deep breath from Sadak there. That got very close.
It's like Sadak's re-clearing back towards like outside C. So conscious of alert coming through. So much time elapses here, and EDG, like I said, they go, I don't want to say overly aggressive, but they take a lot of space away from Loud. They're almost left wandering as well. And they get so dicey on site here.
That's a step away from potentially being a fair fight between the two of them. But again, the buy's not good for Loud. This hasn't been a string of rounds. This has been dribs and drabs, and they've been battered. So you're going to see Guardians. You're going to see at least that operator brought over. So Aspas gets a little bit of play in this.
Big change up here, though. First time we've seen this heavy an emphasis towards C, or towards Mound at least. Flash will note it. Actually, second bit of utility noted as well.
Maybe that operator being in play a little bit more favorable for Aspas to try and play around that. All going to come in, but look at Kang trying to build the space so quickly.
No respect.
Huge.
Zero respect for Sadak's pit.
So confident to take that, and that was a solo effort as well from Sadak.
On the back of this presence shown outside C, EDG love posting Kang up to take 1v1s elsewhere.
Does Cowanty want to try and explore this further? Oh dear, that's a dead man walking! Nobody waiting, they read it so well, that want of trading a kill back, getting something on their side. And look at the way they're approaching this. Kang is on the other side of the map. He's still punishing less. EDG, this is stunning.
You never get a solid indicator for what EDG are going to do in the early round.
Because Kang's an army by himself.
Exactly.
He took down the pit, he took down Sadak, he explores further, he finds less. That could have been an A take. It wasn't, but it could have been.
So it comes back to that point once again. EDG just have so many options in the early round. Loud, lacking a bit of composure here in terms of the bigger picture. And it's
the legs.
It's tough, but Loud have to take the initiative in some of these rounds.
Well, I kind of liked it, right? When they started to play out a little bit deeper towards A, testing what's behind that smoke, exploring late, punishing that B kind of, I guess, adjustment. But then once we go into this round, I mean, you're trying to trade a kill back at that point. They were so set up for it.
Enemy kill. Oh! One enemy remaining.
EDG are running rings around Loud right now.
It's not even close.
You see Aspas come online. Sitting at 2 and 8, obviously, usually the power play you consider in a match like this versus a hyper-aggressive team.
This is just still, yes, chip damage there, but we need Tui to go beyond that, and he's not going to. It's now down to just 2, and Kang is just striding through towards the site. Taking all that space away. Yes, Les can fill a little bit of the gap, but the timing's going to be rough. Okay, he's got a little bit of a window to play with. The Frenzy, maybe he gets a chance to work. Neither are watching this angle. Timing's actually on his side there. Nice attempt on the adjustment, but if it was a rifle, maybe something else could have happened. It's not. So Sadak needs to deliver miracles on this. Sheriff, 2 big players against him. Chi-Chu, feeling like one of the unsung heroes of this team. Hard to share the limelight with someone like Kang, but still, certainly showing his value. Potential rifle there, but time is against him.
Does have the poison orb and the snake bite to work with, but doesn't want to give his position away just yet. Yeah.
High-low, not going to happen. Let's kind of take stock here, Mike, because Loud took a gamble, took a risk going to this map, and it looks like it's absolutely going wrong.
Yeah, I guess it's difficult to really categorize this without having the context from the inside of how they felt about the veto. If this was, they liked something they saw versus Liquid and felt like they could maybe exploit this. And here, obviously, with this start, they don't have the benefit of finances to back up. Yeah. Take some risks in the early round, take some engagements. So there's lots of questions here about what the approach actually was to bring this. EDG, though, have just come out of the gate swinging.
They look flat for Loud as well. You're talking the mental game, and I kind of touched on this earlier. that EG game, EG are very hard to play against currently because, as said, pistol, bonus, and then you kind of run into the, the buy rounds. But I feel like Loud have never had a solid start in this. They've gone from one very compounding game to another. But EDG, credit to them, they've just turned up and played their own game. I don't think they've been particularly pressured. We haven't seen a single player having like a pop-off round. They've had no bailouts for Loud here.
It's funny as well to hear Kung talking about respecting Loud as a team and Aspas as an individual, and then just not seeing that in the server.
Not at all.
At all.
Yeah, that's the way you want to see it though, right? Because it's a genuine thing though, the fear of a name, right? Like you're kind of against a big boy player. You've had them in finals. They've won some of these events before. And Aspas has been absent here. Again, regular season over in NA. Fabulous performance from them. Looking like they're about to correct all of those issues that plagued them. Look good. Come here and it's been missing. Really is. Now, I don't think this map was probably the best bet. Maybe again we could find out more once you speak to the coaches, you see their intention. I think putting Loud into a further unknown worries me, because the entirety of this is Loud basically playing into unknowns, right? We had EG on, it's a very small sample size, keep in mind. While I waffle, there is a tech pause. Again, the EG game, I think EG were playing above their station so far, so a little bit of an unknown quantity, right? They came in with such momentum, very hard to kind of manage that. Now you play up against EDG, another team, high momentum, high confidence, and you've given yourself the unknown of a map that isn't safe for you. There's no comfort here for Loud.
Well, again, just touching on further into the veto, we then go to Fracture, where EG absolutely spanks Loud.
Yes.
They barely had a say in that map. EG ran away with that so early on, and we were crediting that towards Aspas being way ahead of the curve, Loud kind of forgetting early round protocols, not investing utility, setting Aspas up. He was still delivering numerically, but it wasn't really being converted into rounds or any sort of consistency across it. So you come out here with the Lotus pick, and this almost felt like it needed to be one-sided for Loud.
Yes, 100%. I'm with you. Like, if you're, as I said, if we're talking about
if Fracture versus EG was an anomaly, but I'm looking at that as a red flag, a massive red flag.
Because it's poured through to this, hasn't it? This hasn't just felt like one map being wrong or one opponent over-delivering. Yeah, EDG are playing a fantastic game. I don't want to discredit them in any regard for that. Like, they are playing very, very well. But I don't think any of what they've been bringing was tested. It wasn't pushed yet. We saw one round them address one side of the map.
Well, especially here as well, if you bring Lotus out and you're relying on your prep, is that applicable to the way EDG play? Because they're playing very unorthodox.
Yes.
They're doing some things that, like I said, are just going to keep Loud guessing, and we haven't really seen any set pieces executed here from Loud. Finances, round score aside, yes, it's not really going to enable them to take many risks, but if you were going to play this veto heavily reliant on prep, you don't get the opportunity now. That's it. That ship
that's gone out the window.
Yeah, that ship has sailed
long ago. And to kind of add to that, if we're going to compound problems, we're speaking very realistically as this. I think it's just going back live now, so we can kind of pause that for now. But we haven't had that big Kang round. We haven't had that massive Chi-Chi round yet. They're just playing a good game of Valorant. This hasn't been a singular performance. This hasn't just been one player having those pop-off moments.
And we've had basically one example of, let's call it a set piece, an adjustment on the side of Loud, which is around the pit. Yes, they looked heavily anchored or pressure towards Mound, and it was shut down immediately. Loud have just not had any semblance of stability. No opportunity to really be decisive in these rounds.
And here comes the switch up. Sadak's got to be really careful here. He's instantly under pressure. They are closing the gap. The Seeker's going to isolate and find out where he is. The fight's there for Kang as well. He wants it. Blades pop. It's less to find Chi-Chu, but he's right there with him. This is his sight until Aspas finally makes a little bit of magic happen for himself. They're fighting back for this one. Loud not letting them take the space away. A reminder of who this team is. Loud finally turn up to the fight.
Those sorts of round are confidence builders versus EDG. Shutting them down, winning out in a scrappy engagement. Almost looked like Sadak was going to get caught off guard then. A number of times he's readjusting that poison orb. Kang is just so quick, man. Loud build upon this now. Paranoia going to be sent here. EDG is stacked up once again, Lauren.
We're talking about brawls. Let's see if it continues for Loud, though. They won one of them finally. Haldong's in danger, actually. This is good. The follow-up flash. Oh, it's caught him. Aspas was blinded, had to fall away. Another bit of utility, just forcing him back and back and back. But Aspas, is he the one to save them? Kankai's dead. There he is, finally coming alive. Aspas holding the ground. Nobody's willing to fight, though. They are up for the challenge. They feel no fear. Oh, and there you can see why. Beautiful shot towards Aspas. Oh, and another response. Sadak is there, but nobody has given himself a 1v1. 1 minute on the board, less against him.
The ping's come through. Nobody's been given the information by his teammates here. But down to 52 HP.
Got a flash.
Trailblazer to work with as well.
He's got so much time to play with.
Les has got to be sweating bullets here. Nobody's trying to dig him out.
Yeah, I like this. Not even reloading, not using the flash yet. He's trying to clear as much as he can, maybe figure out how much space you'd have to work with. They have no idea of truly where each other are currently. All right, gonna go in.
30 seconds left.
He's gonna hold the push through, give a little bit of respite for Les. He's considering the C site now. There's been enough time passed that he's a little bit worried about that C site.
The turret would have spotted any push through from spawn.
10 seconds left.
Nobody going to opt for a safe plant here on A. Lockdown and a nano swarm available. Les. What does he invest here?
He's got a bit of kit on this one. Nobody's seen him. He's been seen right back, but the HP's lower for nobody. There's the lockdown. You got to play this right. Do not.
Les!
You are mad!
Dancing with death. Behind a snappy one tap.
Taking risks at this point. Bloody hell, it's a lifeline for Loud. A very close round.
But that's 2 now on the board. Well, they've won out in a scrap, and this looked like EDG were almost about to turn this back. Aspas goes huge to shut this down. Another confidence builder for Loud. 3-round deficit. A stark contrast potentially here in the outcome, the final scoreline. If this wallbang connects, it's going to be heartbreaking. Aspas.
Okay. Oh, he's down
a
28.
big tag.
Yeah, he's very low here. Counting's close enough by. He should be able to get him back up to a decent amount of HP, but this buys time. And you can look at what EDG are doing. They're trying to explore the rest of the map while Loud try and get themselves back up to fighting form. Already split through towards B, a little testing over towards Mound. Big impact just off that Guardian alone.
They needed a spark, and these 2 scrappy rounds, please put them back in contention for this half. A 7-5 will feel like a miracle for Loud.
Kankang's come over a little later this time. No pixel noted, though. You can see Kaunzin drifting a little closer towards A-Long, but you can see the Seekers forge the trail through towards B, and there's the fair fight, but Smoggy wins this one out, spots out 2Es as well. The Seeker giving him so much space. Flash, yes! With a shorty! Oh, the follow-up! They don't fight alone here, EDG swarming the site, and Sadak and Les feeling a mile away, and Chichu's position should be the death of Sadak.
It absolutely is. 1 left standing, and it's Les. Smoggy chomping at the bit. 3 bullets. Les will respond, though, but a 1v4.
Okay. This is getting a little much for me. It would take superhuman sort of performance here to try and work this one out. Let's give it a damn good go. It's not going to happen. Haldong's there. And look, the scoreline actually giving Loud a little bit of room. Not a lot, but a little.
There's something at least to cling on to here. I mean, the spacing is just... Talking about uncharacteristic things we're seeing time and time again from Loud. They can't get this trade on in the last round, and it just spirals out of control so quickly, Lauren.
Certainly does. And keeping us in control will be the desk.
Thank you so much for that, and wow, I mean, if there's one thing that we learned from this without a doubt is that EDG's here to play, and Loud just gave themselves a little bit of a lifeline to work with, but not what I was expecting going into the half.
Yeah, Loud now the second team to adopt this Cloud9 Neon Sky comp on this map, and the second, I think, to kind of, I feel like, miss some of the strongest points of them. Loud was constantly going for these A-lobby brawls where they're full committing with a paranoia, with their Neon running in to take that space really early in these rounds, and it kind of made it so they were flipping these rounds really early on, and I think that can be a mistake with this composition. One of its biggest strengths is the ability to have your Neon and your Sky rotating in the mid-round, re-clearing space, using those stuns to stall out executes, almost like a breach. You can just run really fast across the map. When you're going aggressive like that against this double duelist Omen comp, EDG can just get aggressive ahead of that, teleport past you, and punish those aggressive plays as they did so many times.
Exactly. That round 4 was a perfect example. On the previous round, EDG saw the aggression and they were like, okay, we're out. On the next one, we're going to actually have a reaction to that. You have that double duelist. It's going to be easy for you to be snappy, to be explosive. Also Loud using that retake wall over to B and C. Like, the plan was very obvious and is something that fell a little bit flat. I think it was only one round that we saw them taking a different initiative. On the other side, we're seeing an EDG that is bringing what we expected, late round executes. Now going into their defense, though, we need to address the fact that that double duelist is there and obviously the Cypher as well.
Yeah, 33% win rate for them on this half of the map. It is definitely the weaker one, so this is doable for Loud. Well, it wasn't a great first half. It was individual moments that got them those rounds. 4 is enough to make a comeback happen here. I think this Neon cap can be quite strong on the attacking side. You can flood through that Killjoy utility, and I think for EDG, they'll be forced into playing a retake a lot.
Yeah, well, these next 2 rounds that are coming up here can be critical for Loud to just get them right back into the game. Anything is possible to send it right back over to Pansy and Hypok.
Now we get to find out the reality of, is 4 rounds enough? The desk was describing it, you know, the EDG face some issues now with this composition coming into this half.
But I think Loud do as well. Talk about Chichu already making a name for himself here in Tokyo, but also the Cypher kind of counters Aspas's ability to freely enter site. We'll have to see if that is something that causes some issues, because they're heading straight towards the setup right now. Unless his turret doesn't get the info.
No, but they are taking a lot of room here.
Dealt with.
Yeah, that's 1 down. 1 more to go. Chichu
took
a little careful here, yeah.
Bot coming back.
And who was it on this? It's Haldong with him as well. Now, there's a lot of pressure, but then no commitment initially. Maybe seeing if EDG re-clear. For now, Haldong's just holding. Thinking that no one slipped through, and no one has.
Didn't catch it, actually, if unless turret was destroyed or he recalled it because he was out of range.
There it is. Okay, so like a contact piece was being brought in. Not going to find the value it had wanted here, Chichu. Does he get away? How much does he get away with? Does he just get some timing? Just really the best timing in the world. Slips a little closer, down on 1 HP though. Had to wait for that to come back up. Countaine's got the punish. And Loud with this double pump towards the A side. It's worked out well. Bless trying to hold this back line. Clean on that shot towards Smoggy. Shot and, yeah, hunted down. Okay. This is still a lot to do though. That's 4 players to clear on this side. He'll smoke off Sadak and look to find a player watching that cross towards him. Nicely done so far by Loud. Nobody gonna go with it. The 4 HP. Oh dear, not gonna be enough. Loud. Stay alive with 2. Do what they need to, making it up to 5.
Slow approach here, and I said Loud have to be conscious of sniffing out where Chichu's setups are, create a little bit of space. Yes, open up these choke points for Aspas. Yeah, curious if actually Loud want to run this through with a couple of rifles or actually invest fully SMGs across this. It will just be 3 actually. A Ghost and a Frenzy to round things out.
Okay. What do we have on the other side? I'm just seeing a Sheriff, Ghost for nobody, and that's about it. So, by all rights, Loud should have probably the cleanest round thus far. Get themselves up towards 6. A couple of orbs here and there. Lovely day in the office. But there is a stack on B. And Loud gonna navigate around that, not gonna entertain the concept of it. And head back around towards A. Okay, so dealing with the turret though. Where do the rest of EDG head? Right Background towards connector. Okay, so Loud, similar scenes, just doing their due diligence. This is all somewhat safe so far. Kang the only one who's really going to pose a threat, but the paranoia lands perfectly, spams in, spots out Aspas, who slides right on by him. Aceye is going to have some bodies on it though, Mike. This isn't completely safe anymore.
Nobody gets info on 2Es here. Perfect flash comes through,
Rifle.
finds a big upgrade.
Hold on, this is getting way more dangerous now. Zanak still only in the frenzy, and look at the HP. Zanak down low. If nobody can land these, which he can! Oh dear! Loud might have made the biggest mistake yet! And now one more kill! Smoggy! Flies in! An EDG! Breaking Loud's hearts. That was meant to be the cleanest round yet for them.
We talk about an upgrade paying dividends here. Nobody goes huge. Again, less left on flank duty here with a rifle. Disconnected a little bit. There's nobody in position to police that weapon. No buddy system in place. And EDG make Loud pay for that mistake.
All of those benefits of round one have been lost. All of that opportunity gone, and you will be furious with that. That was a sheriff and a ghost. That was it. There was nothing more to the EDG buy. And a rifle found, and a round taken. Loud. Devastating timing for this. On the way back in, though, sheriffs themselves a frenzy to add in. And the ult for Aspas. Has the shield as well, so looking like he wants to invest this. They'll slow down on the way in, though. Not going to have as much ease of access, but you can see him trying to be brought in by Cowanzine. EDG, hyper proactive through middle, and that is a player hunted down. Smoggy wanted Zanak dead.
Move alert nice and early. Spike will be planted, but Aspas needs to try and find something here. Kang at the perfect time swings back onto 2Es.
Does Aspas have the chance, though? Not really. And look at Kang. Head first. Wants it, doesn't get it. Punished. Kang gonna go down. This gives him a little bit of a window of chance. Not much, though. Solo, Aspas 8 HP. This have to be one of the biggest rounds we'd ever see from him. That's the start he wants. The fuse started, though, and it's not ideal for him in this situation. Another Aspas! A valiant attempt. Not going to be enough, though, and that's double digits for EDG, Mike. They've done so well so quickly.
That flip round.
Yeah.
Totally alters the course of the start of this half. Loud will be back on a purchase now, but yeah, just pennies left after this. Aspas at 1,200, sure, but it's going to make any sort of investment very, very difficult beyond this.
Operator out. Correct site to be on.
Players stacked up.
Yep. Well, Kang, let's see what you got here, buddy. You're starting to look a little more heated in the cam as well, starting to get a little bit more into the game, standing up tall. Aspas, great work, but EDG responding kind, held on, getting away with daylight robbery until then. Aspas really the only one to answer back. Flies in and flies out. Kang holding that so well. And it's just less. In a blink of an eye, we're still above a minute. This is systematic destruction, EDG. Taking no prisoners here.
No. Again, putting a stranglehold on the finances once again, same as the first half. Loud. Very few rounds to play with now. Unimportant. Look at Cowanzine as well. We gets the TP up early. Loud will call a timeout here because, like I said, there's very, very few rounds left for them to have a say in this half. Look at them here toying with the idea of throwing a rifle or two in here. Aspas, ultimate once again, Cowanzine with the Seekers.
I have to kind of bring this back to reality, that this just feels desperate from Loud. They haven't had answers. They haven't had their players there.
We saw this turning point in the series versus, well, actually even in the first map versus EG, where Loud just suddenly was just like, okay, guys, try and find a kill. There was no utility invested. It was just 2 or 3 players Loud just barreling towards the site, trying to take an engagement, and things just, I don't even want to say slip through their fingers. They never even got a grasp in the second half.
Never got a hand to it. But this would be like seeing Fnatic, after the season they had in EMEA, faltering twice in a row.
Yeah, I mean, historically, the only time we've ever seen Loud lose an opening game was to Optica Copenhagen, and they were eliminated immediately after that. Again, we're talking history, but this is such an anomaly for Loud, but it's also now a real possibility with how this first map is going, unless we see a total overhaul on Fracture.
He's here again. You can't get away from this guy. Omnipresent, standing his ground, has to respect it eventually and fall away, but he stays out just long enough. He's not going to go in. He's not fully dipping away from this, and they've got the right read here as well. EDG have 3 players on that C site. Great call. Maybe noting Kangkang is enough that they maybe adjust, that they fall away from this. He's going to chase him around this map if he has to. Loud can't play hide and seek the whole time. Going to take away a little bit of the utility invested towards A. Make Chichu a little bit more vulnerable, but you can already see the adjustment. Proactive over towards Mount. They've cleared, nothing seen, and the burst towards the site. How much can Chichu hold, though? This is a very, very tough position. He's opted correctly, falls away to a little bit of a deeper position, force them to explore further, and punishes 2! Looking for a 3rd, he can't do any more, but he's done so much. And the beast from the east is here. This man is deadly through and through. Les going to be caught off as well. EDG just pushing Loud down on the knees. This is flawless. I mean, EDG are outclassing Loud in every aspect.
They haven't missed a beat. And Kangkang rotating across once again, keeping Loud guessing in the early round. Like I said, it doesn't matter what side, there are no early round indicators you get from EDG.
Nope.
There's no way to feel out the setup, the formation, anything. You barely even get a chance.
Well, Aspas as a result, they've got to buy. It's now or it's never, right? This was meant to be the curveball map pick. This was a map that maybe they felt they had some tape on, recent tape. They had a really nice concept coming in. They've got 5 rounds. You've got to do something now, Loud. Otherwise, EDG are tearing away map 1 with a huge advantage leading into map 2. And Kangkang's patrolling, prowling around. Singular hold towards A as well. He's going to have the fight against Sadak. Last time, so quick, you barely saw it. This time, Sadak's ready. Huge pick, taking away the headhunter himself. Chichu on the switch up though this time here.
Campbell spot. A couple of bodies from Loud, but as I say, it could be a concern that the Trailblazer is used so early on. Big damage done to his doesn't fall though.
They're chasing. EDG getting aggressive, herding them around the map. Look at the backfill of this space. Nobody is chasing them down. 0 respect given. They want this. The Paranoid didn't quite land. They are literally on their heels. Loud are running for the hills, running for the site. TP taken for Howdong safely towards CT. And now the flank gets watched. Trying to bait it on the jump spot. Nobody swings but takes the damage. Aspas has to defend this side of the map. There are 3 players against him. Lockdowns come in. Loud are panicking. They got to hold on to this. They know the stakes. They're in this round.
We'll force them away here. The lockdown draws a line at the choke point. Howdong's still over in spawn, but looks as if EDG finally will relent. Will give this up. They're so desperate to catch the backside of that Loud stack because they know the spike's there.
Yep.
They read it perfectly. Dumping utility to Paranoia sent through. Nobody chomping at the bit. Smoggy will find one. Yeah. I mean, really, you're looking for damage control here from Loud. You don't want to see less ball either, but sharp to it.
Last player standing.
Great from Les, yeah. Wow. Okay. Said they had to do something. Took them a lot, but Loud got it. That's 6. Need 6 more to close up this scoreline. Have a full buy here. 1 away from the pit. TP, yeah. And 2 from the Seekers. So a couple of options coming close, but on the other side, I am also seeing that showstopper, which worries me. It's still an operator as well for Kangkang, so it's so much still in the
And like I said, the fact that now Loud have to invest the Trailblazer to try and fish out Kangkang in the early round, it actually reinforces Chichu's utility a little bit here.
He's going for it!
Ahead of it!
This guy's nuclear right now, just gonna back away, try and readdress this, but EDG, get in their faces! This is a round that's sending a message, no fear, no respect. And Loud are struggling down to 2. Chichu just wants it, they want him dead, they want him buried, they want map 2, and they might just be getting it right now! Finishing with a flourish, it's 13-6, EDG outclassing Loud by a mile.
Absolutely explosive once again. Like I said, Loud just unable to grasp anything here on Lotus, it felt like. Even some of the rounds where Loud looked to go aggressive. I said EDG played both sides of the coin perfectly. Absolute masterclass from them. Talking about last time versus Liquid, coming down to a coin flip. This wasn't even close, Lauren.
A totally different game in that regard. And you know what, that scares me. Those last couple of rounds where you started to see that, you know, the classic, like that Chinese style, right, where it's just hyper aggression, raw fights. It's terrifying. So they can switch into that gear. They have that.
Yeah, versus a team like Loud that historically have shown us that they can play scrappy, they can brawl, they have the firepower here in this roster to be able to go toe-to-toe with some of the more aggressive teams across the world. But here, a 13-6 on Lotus, and the way that EDG approached this, the lack of respect, Loud unable to stabilize.
They've got to come online here. Loud have looked absent. There's no two ways to say it. This has to be a rude awakening for them. Again, first match, yeah sure, call it what it is, EG on a hot run, but EDG have compounded the problems. They've highlighted all those issues once again. And now we look to the next map. We look towards Fracture as redemption, and they need it desperately. Loud are one map away from being eliminated here in Tokyo.